Hey there, I'm Lance and I'm a gamer.
And I'm Sam and I'm a non-gamer.
And we are Love to Hate, where we try to help gamers find great games to play with non-gamers.
And today we're taking a look at Inheritance by Flying Man Games.
Inheritance is a card game in which you are trying to get your admirer to be the one that marries the successor so that you gain part of the inheritance. This game is a medieval themed card game in which you have an actual wedding ring in the game that you will be playing with, trying to make sure you have that ring at the start of your turn so that you win. Let me show you how this works down below, and then we'll come back and share our thoughts on it as a gamer and non-gamer. All right, here's Inheritance on the table. Let me show you guys how this unusual card game works, in which wedding bells are ringing, and you are wanting to be the person who marries the successor to gain part of the inheritance. Now, everything you see here in this portion of the video is prototype. The final artwork, components, and rules may change once it's released from the Kickstarter. But what you do have with this game, you have a nice board, and you have some tarot-sized cards with some medieval theme to it. The artwork here is medieval, and black silhouettes here to represent the different roles in the game. You are going to have on these cards, you're going to have different suits. There's 4 different suits. I'll come back to what that means here in a second, as well as a ranking number with a title and action for every card. You are also going to have this beautiful ring, the Ring of Power. Not really, but this is a very important ring, because if you start your turn with this ring, then you win the game. And so you desperately want to get this ring. Now, the theme of this game, you've got, at the beginning of the game, cards are going to be dealt out to specific spots. You've got 2 parents here, the king and the queen, and you have their successor, their child, the prince or princess. And they are looking for someone to marry the successor to gain part of the inheritance. Now, the rules are going to determine who the admirer that is leading for the successor are going to change throughout the course of the game. At the beginning of the game, you'll have 1 card dealt over here to the proposal, and all you're really paying attention to on this card is the suit. And whatever the suit is, I mentioned there's 4 different types. The rule for that suit changes who is the leading successor. And those rules are printed on the board here. So the red heart says it is for true love. The successor is marrying for true love. And so the successor's suit is favored. And this happens to be the purple swords here. So that is going to be the suit that is sort of like the trump suit, if you will. Now, the card over here, the influence card, is going to be the card that breaks ties. If multiple players play heart cards, then this roll over here is going to be what determines whose card's better. Highest rank wins. This card always starts the game over here in the influence pile. And so you can see each card has a number on it. That's the rank. If 2 people were to play heart cards, you would go off of whose rank is higher in this instance, because that is what this card is over here. Now, at the beginning of the game, everyone's going to have 6 cards in hand, and they will select 1 card to play face down. And when all players have cards out in front, face down, then you will reveal those cards. And so we see here that we have a purple 9 and a purple 10. Now, this player over here, they thought purple 9, that's a really good card, because purple is the suit that we're going off of, because it's the successor suit, and it's pretty high. The only card higher than a 9 is a 10. So they thought they were going to get the ring, but unfortunately somebody did have the purple 9. And this player over here, they played a green 10, which green is not going to be the trump suit, if you will, because again, we're going off the heart for the proposal, which is the successor suit. But we'll come back to why they might have done that here in just a second. So this player who played the purple 10, they will start the game with the ring. Now, you would not keep your cards here on the board. I'm just doing that to keep everything on frame. And it would start with the player to the left of the person who starts the game with the ring, because if this player starts their next turn with the ring, then they win the game. But as it is, they have to go last. So this player over here is going to choose one of their cards in their hand to play to do one of 2 things. You're either changing the proposal, which means you're changing the trump suit, and you're changing up the rule for who is the top admirer, which might be a good thing to do, because in this instance, you're not going to overcome this 10, because 10 is going to beat out the 9 every day of the year. Now, another thing you can do is you can play a card for its action to hopefully change the influence or change up the members of the family or the different admirers. We'll take a look at some of the actions here. It says the cleric here, replace a family member with this card. So you could take this card and you could change who the successor is because they are a family member. So in theme, this would be that maybe the soldier here died in battle and now we're having to marry off their second child. And we're going to see who can marry the cleric, for instance. That would be the theme there with that. That would be something that maybe this person might do because now the trump suit is green and it would not go to this player. It would actually go to this player. So that actually would not be a good thing to do because it would be their turn next and they would win the game. But there are other actions you could do. An opponent swaps their admirer with a secret admirer from their hand. So you could force this player to take back their admirer, and they would have to choose one of their other admirers, playing it face down, and they wouldn't reveal who that is until the start of their next turn. There are tons of different actions that you could do in this game that hopefully shake things up and allow you to be able to be the one who can steal the ring away so that that person doesn't start the turn with the ring. This player over here, they might have played this green 10 because they have a card that they're going to use to swap out the proposal with. And what the green one says, missing suits are favored. Well, we have the red, we have the yellow, we have the purple. The only one we don't have on the board is green. And because highest rank wins, this is the best card now. And so they would get the ring. You can see how this really shakes things up. You're not quite sure exactly what's going to happen. And lots of chaos will ensue, but you gotta roll with the punches and play the card that works best for you. Now, at the end of your turn, you're always going to draw back up to a hand of 6 cards, and you will continue the game playing it out. And again, if anybody starts their turn with the ring, they win the game. That's all there is to it. Now, in a 2-player game, the rules are a little bit different. You are going to do the same thing I just described. However, you are not going to draw a new card at the end of your turn. Once somebody wins that hand, they are going to claim both the king and queen, and they're going to keep them off to the side in a scoring pile. Then, this is really cool, the successor and their admirer, who ultimately ended up together, they become the new king and queen for the next round. And they have a new child who they're needing to marry off. The other player's admirer who did not get picked, they are going to go under the influence card. That's kind of the graveyard, the discard pile, because they're old and dead now. You would refill your hand back up to 6, and you would play again, selecting new admirers, and hopefully trying to win this round. And if that player wins, then they claim the cards, and this continues until the deck runs out. You'll see who has the most in their scoring piles, and then they're the ultimate victor. And that's how you play Inheritance. Let's go back up top and share our thoughts on this unusual card game. And we're back, and now we're going to share our thoughts on Inheritance from a gamer and non-gamer's perspective. And real quick, this is running on crowdfunding, so make sure to check out the link down below to check out the campaign after you watch our video. So Sam, first impressions, seeing this on the table, you got these tarot-sized cards with the medieval theming to this game. You've got that actual wedding ring that comes into the game. What'd you think of this, seeing it out on the table?
It looked very like princessy, Disney.
Okay.
The light colors, the princesses, kings, queens, things like that. So it looked like it was going to be pretty easy.
Okay. And then you get into it and you see how the cards work off of each other and how you're trying to change the proposal or the influence. What was that experience like?
It definitely takes a lot of thinking. You really have to, one, know what each card means in each spot, and then really think through each move. What's this going to do? Is it going to, because you don't want the ring to go to the person in front of you, because then it's their turn and they win, and it could be over like that. You really don't want it to go too in front of you either, though. You kind of want it to go to either yourself, ideally, or the person to your right. But there's a lot of thinking, and it doesn't look like it's going to be as big of a thinking game as it is.
This is a tricky game. The word that I think of when I play this game is tricky, because you really have to, like Sam said, examine each of your cards in your hand and play it through your mind. If I play this, what's going to happen? If I play that, what's going to happen? Yeah. And if you're not careful, it will be the case that you play something and you inadvertently give the victory to somebody else, the person sitting to your left, more than likely. And that happens in this game. But you know what? I'm here for it. I like that, because you play the card and then you're like, oh no, what did I just do?
Yeah.
And it's fun experiencing that, but it's also fun when you play it and you're smart and it works out your way and you do get that ring and nobody can stop you and you get it and you win the game. For me, this is a game that feels like every card changes things up and it really shakes what's happening out on the board. And so some people might look at that and they might think, well, that's really chaotic. I can't plan for that. But I feel like when I play this game, you're twisting and turning and it's telling a story. It really fits with the theme, I feel like. What did you feel? I know you're not a big theme person, but did you feel the theme in this game?
Yeah, you definitely can. It's not, I think I more don't like themes where it's like a movie plastered onto a game theme that we've already played.
On themes.
Yeah. So this is quite different, but you can feel the theme in it for sure. I think the ring helps things.
It definitely does help for sure, yeah.
I prefer diamond. But
oh, come on. Now, I really, with the theming of this, I equate it to kind of like a House of Dragons kind of thing with it, because you're trying to get your person to be the heir, to be the successor, to be married into the family and get the dowry or whatever the case is. Yeah. And I really like that feel with this, because it's one that I think really comes through in this game, and it fits with this kind of twisting mechanic with the game. Like, oh, I just switched the rules up, and now I'm the leading person in the game. So I don't know, really cool experience. Tried it out at 4 players and at 2 players. Personally, I like the 4 players a bit more, not too terribly much. I feel like the 2-player experience is still a very solid experience and it's fun. It's just with 4 people, you have more cards in hand and more things are happening on the table. So really interesting game. It's one that I highly recommend. I had a good time with it. And it is Inheritance. It is from Flying Man Games. It's running on crowdfunding, and so make sure to check out the link in the description of this video. Also, leave us some comments. Let us know what you think about this particular game.
Make sure to like and subscribe and push that bell button so you get notifications of all our new content.
I'm Lance.
I'm Sam.
And we are Love to Hate, where we try to bridge the gap between gamers and non-gamers. We'll catch you next time.